There's a story that has been told for millennia. The story of Adam and Eve, the first humans, placed in the Garden of Eden, tasked with the responsibility of stewardship over the earth. We all know the narrative: a tree, an apple, a fall from grace, and the beginning of humanity's struggle with sin and redemption. But what if I told you that there is more to the story, a deeper account of Adam and Eve's lives, their journey through hardship and their ultimate reconciliation with God? A story that, for reasons still debated, was excluded from the Bible. This is the book of Adam and Eve, and it holds powerful lessons, not just about the past, but about our own lives today. The book of Adam and Eve is not just another myth or fable. It is an ancient spiritual text that reveals much more about human nature, the divine, and the path of redemption than what is offered in the traditional biblical account. It provides an emotional, raw, and transformative narrative of the lives of Adam and Eve after their exile from Eden. Redemption is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process that requires reflection, humility, and a willingness to change. Adam and Eve's journey after the fall was one of pain, exile, and separation from God. But it was also one of growth and learning. They had to face the consequences of their actions and the new reality they found themselves in. But this was the beginning of a deeper understanding of themselves, their relationship with God, and their purpose in the world. Redemption requires an acknowledgement of our failings, but it also offers us the opportunity to move beyond them, to transform and grow, and to restore what was lost. The process of redemption is deeply personal, and it is something that requires effort, sacrifice, and a willingness to change. For Adam and Eve, redemption meant accepting the consequences of their disobedience, learning to live in a world where paradise was no longer their home, and understanding the significance of their choices. But it also meant realizing that even though they had fallen, they were not abandoned. The possibility of redemption is a gift, and it is one that requires us to reach out and take it. In the case of Adam and Eve, their story shows that even in the face of exile and punishment, God's mercy and love remain ever present. The fall and redemption narrative is not just a theological concept. It's a reflection of the human condition. It's a reminder that mistakes are part of life and that no one is immune to failure. But it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of grace. It teaches us that while we may face setbacks, disappointments, and moments of profound loss, these are not the defining moments of our lives. The defining moments come when we choose to rise from our falls, to seek redemption, and to transform our brokenness into something greater. Ultimately, the depth of the fall and the power of redemption lie in the recognition that we are not defined by our mistakes. We are defined by our capacity to learn, to grow, and to become better versions of ourselves. Adam and Eve's story, with all its pain and loss, offers a powerful message. The fall is not the end. It is merely the beginning of a deeper journey towards spiritual maturity and connection with the divine. Redemption is always within our reach if we are willing to embrace it, no matter how far we have fallen. In many religious traditions, the concept of God's mercy is one of the most profound and transformative aspects of the divine character. Mercy, in its purest form, is an expression of unconditional love and grace, a force that transcends justice and offers forgiveness, even in the face of wrongdoing. God's mercy is not just about pardon, it's about understanding, healing, and restoration. It is a mercy that meets us where we are, in our brokenness and imperfection, and offers the possibility of renewal and transformation. This compassionate view of God's mercy reveals a depth of love that is beyond human comprehension, a love that reaches out to us even when we fail, when we fall, or when we stray from the path. God's mercy is not a fleeting or conditional feeling. It is a steady, unwavering aspect of God's character that never diminishes, no matter what we do. It is an invitation to experience grace, to know that we are never too far gone to receive forgiveness. In the story of Adam and Eve, for instance, when they disobeyed God and ate from the forbidden tree, their actions brought pain and separation from God. But even in the midst of their disobedience, God's mercy was evident. Though they faced the consequences of their actions, exile from Eden, hardship, and a life of toil, God did not abandon them. Instead, God clothed them and promised a future redemption. This act is a powerful testament to the compassionate nature of God's mercy. Even in their failure, they were not rejected. They were met with compassion. God's mercy is about restoration, not just punishment. While justice demands consequences, mercy offers a way for people to heal and recover. It recognizes that while sin and wrong choices do create distance and harm, they do not define the entirety of a person's worth or potential. The story of the prodigal son is another vivid illustration of this mercy. When the son squandered his inheritance and lived a life of excess, he ultimately found himself destitute and regretful. Rather than being met with anger or judgment from his father, he was embraced with open arms. His father did not see him as the sum of his mistakes, but as a beloved child who had returned home. This is the essence of God's mercy, a willingness to embrace us, no matter where we've been or what we've done. God's mercy extends beyond simple forgiveness. It's an active force that seeks to heal and reconcile. It's not about ignoring sin or minimizing the damage caused by it. It's about offering a path to restoration. God's mercy helps us move from a place of guilt and shame to a place of peace and healing. This is where the transformative power of mercy lies. It allows us to move beyond our mistakes and experience a renewal of our spirit, just as a parent forgives their child not because they condone their wrongs, but because they understand their vulnerability. God's mercy meets us in our vulnerability, recognizing our capacity to change, to grow, and to turn toward goodness. The compassionate view of God's mercy is one that calls us to extend that same mercy to others. If God can show mercy to us, despite our failures, weaknesses, and imperfections, then we are called to reflect that mercy in our own relationships. It's a mercy that goes beyond mere tolerance or acceptance. It's an invitation to genuinely forgive and to offer a second chance, just as God does for us. To live with mercy means to see people as more than their mistakes, to acknowledge their humanity, and to understand that everyone has the potential for growth and change. In our human experience, we often hold on to grudges or dwell in resentment, unable or unwilling to forgive. But when we embrace the compassionate view of God's mercy, we are reminded that true healing comes through the act of forgiveness, both for others and for ourselves. It's in letting go of the need for retribution and embracing the transformative power of mercy that we find true peace. This is what makes God's mercy so powerful. It not only heals the person who is forgiven, but also heals the one who forgives. Mercy is not just about absolving someone else of their wrongs. It's about releasing our own pain, bitterness, and anger, allowing our hearts to heal as well. In moments of failure, loss, or pain, the compassionate view of God's mercy offers us a deep sense of hope. It assures us that no matter what we face, no matter how far we fall, God's love is unwavering and redemption is always possible. This mercy invites us to be vulnerable, to admit our mistakes, and to trust that forgiveness and healing are within our reach. It calls us to embrace a new way of seeing ourselves and the world, a way that recognizes that while we are all imperfect, we are all deserving of love, grace, and the opportunity to begin again. In the end, God's mercy is not just a theological concept. It's a living force that touches every aspect of our lives. It compels us to be better, to love more deeply, and to extend the same grace to others that has been extended to us. It teaches us that forgiveness is not an act of weakness, but an act of strength. And it reminds us that redemption is always possible, even in the darkest moments of our lives. Through God's mercy, we are given the chance to heal, to grow, and to become the people we are meant to be. Struggle is an inevitable part of the human experience, and though it may seem like an obstacle, it holds the potential for profound growth and empowerment. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and moments of difficulty that test our strength, resilience, and determination. Yet, these very struggles, rather than diminishing us, have the power to shape and refine us, leading to personal transformation and empowerment. In fact, it is often through struggle that we discover our true potential, develop qualities of perseverance, and gain the strength to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. At its core, struggle is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our humanity. It reveals our vulnerability and our capacity for growth, teaching us that we are not defined by our circumstances, but by how we respond to them. When faced with adversity, we are presented with a choice: to succumb to the challenge or to rise above it and emerge stronger than before. This choice defines our journey and shapes our character. The struggle itself becomes an opportunity for empowerment, as it pushes us to dig deep within ourselves and find reserves of strength we may never have known existed. Consider the way we develop resilience through hardship. Every challenge we face forces us to confront our limitations, but in doing so, it also provides the chance to push beyond them. It is through overcoming obstacles, whether they are physical, emotional, or spiritual, that we build resilience. Each time we face adversity and rise above it, we gain confidence in our ability to handle future challenges. The more we struggle and overcome, ultimately the empowerment we gain through struggle is the kind of strength that cannot be taken away. It is not dependent on external circumstances or fleeting moments of success. Instead, it is an inner power that comes from having faced adversity and emerged from it transformed. Struggle may not be easy, but it is through these moments that we come to understand. Moreover, personal responsibility and agency are essential for building strong relationships with others. When we take responsibility for our actions, we demonstrate respect for others and their rights. We recognize that our behavior has the potential to affect those around us, and we act with care and consideration. This fosters trust, mutual respect, and collaboration. Our agency also plays a role in how we interact with others. It empowers us to communicate effectively, set boundaries, and advocate for our needs, while also being receptive to the needs of those we care about. When we understand our own agency and take responsibility for our role in relationships, we contribute to healthier, more fulfilling connections with others. In a broader context, personal responsibility and agency are essential for creating positive change in society. Each individual has the power to influence their community, whether through small acts of kindness or by standing up for justice and equality. When we take responsibility for the well-being of others and actively participate in creating a better world, we are exercising our agency in a way that has far-reaching consequences. The choices we make, both in our personal lives and in the wider world, shape the future of our communities, nations, and even the world as a whole. Personal responsibility and agency are not about perfection. They are about growth, learning, and taking active steps toward the life we want to create. They involve understanding that while we cannot control everything, we always have control over how we respond to what happens in our lives. They ask us to embrace the truth that we are in charge of our journey, that our choices matter, and that we have the power to create the life we envision. By fully embracing these themes, we unlock the potential to transform ourselves and the world around us. Throughout history, religion has often been a guiding force for moral and ethical behavior, offering solace and direction to billions of people. However, there is a significant danger when religious institutions seek to control or restrict access to knowledge. Knowledge is a powerful tool that shapes our understanding of the world, our existence, and our place in the universe. When it is manipulated or restricted by religious authorities, it can stifle critical thinking, perpetuate ignorance, and limit personal growth. The control over knowledge, especially when used to enforce dogma, can create an environment where questioning, growth, and the pursuit of truth are discouraged, ultimately leading to societal stagnation and spiritual oppression. The danger lies in the centralization of authority within religious institutions, which often positions them as gatekeepers of knowledge. This concentration of power can lead to the suppression of ideas that challenge established beliefs. Religious leaders or institutions may see alternative interpretations of sacred texts, scientific discoveries, or philosophical ideas as threats to their authority or the status quo. In this environment, knowledge that might lead to greater understanding or enlightenment is often sidelined or hidden, leaving individuals with a narrow, restricted worldview that limits their potential for intellectual and spiritual growth. One of the most notorious examples of this danger is the historical control over scientific knowledge by religious institutions. The church, for instance, was famously resistant to the heliocentric model of the solar system proposed by Copernicus and later defended by Galileo. The church at that time held significant power and viewed the Copernican theory as contradicting biblical teachings. As a result, Galileo faced persecution for promoting ideas that challenged religious doctrine. This not only delayed the acceptance of scientific facts, but also had profound implications on the development of science and human understanding. In this case, religious control over knowledge delayed humanity's understanding of the universe and held back progress in fields such as astronomy and physics. Beyond scientific discovery, the control of knowledge in the realm of theology and philosophy can have a similarly damaging impact. In many societies, religious authorities have historically controlled the interpretation of sacred texts, ensuring that only certain ideas are promoted while others are suppressed. This often leads to a rigid and dogmatic worldview, where questioning the teachings of religious leaders or the doctrines of the faith is seen as sinful or heretical. In such an environment, individuals are discouraged from seeking deeper spiritual understanding or from exploring other perspectives. The result is intellectual conformity, where critical thinking and personal exploration are stifled and the potential for spiritual growth is curtailed. Furthermore, the control of knowledge can also extend to more practical aspects of life, such as education and social roles. In many cultures, religious institutions have historically exerted control over what was taught in schools, restricting access to secular or non-religious education. This created an environment where individuals were only exposed to a limited set of ideas and values, which were often shaped by religious doctrine. As a result, many people were denied the opportunity to learn about subjects like history, science, or philosophy from a broader, more objective perspective. In such cases, knowledge became a tool not for personal empowerment or enlightenment, but for maintaining control and perpetuating the influence of religious institutions. The suppression of knowledge also has a profound psychological impact on individuals. When people are told that certain types of knowledge are dangerous, sinful, or off limits, it creates an environment of fear and guilt around learning. People may internalize the idea that their natural curiosity is something to be suppressed, leading to feelings of inadequacy, shame, or confusion. The desire for truth and understanding, which should be seen as noble pursuits, becomes something to avoid. Over time, this can erode an individual's sense of self-worth and undermine their confidence in their ability to think critically or independently. The danger of religious control over knowledge also extends to the collective level. When entire societies are conditioned to accept a limited and dogmatic worldview, they become less capable of adapting to change or responding to new challenges. Societies that restrict access to diverse perspectives, whether through censorship or religious dogma, risk falling into intellectual and cultural stagnation. This lack of progress can prevent societies from addressing pressing issues such as social injustice, environmental degradation, and political corruption that require a willingness to think critically and challenge established norms. In the modern world, where access to information is more widespread than ever, the danger of religious control over knowledge may not always take the form of outright censorship or persecution. Instead, it can manifest in more subtle ways, such as the promotion of misinformation, selective interpretations of religious texts, or the discouragement of critical thinking in favor of unquestioning faith. In such environments, individuals may feel pressured to conform to a particular ideology or worldview, often at the expense of their own intellectual and spiritual growth. Ultimately, the danger of religious control over knowledge is not just about the suppression of information. It is about the suppression of human potential. Knowledge is a pathway to understanding, growth, and empowerment. When it is controlled, manipulated, or restricted, it limits the possibilities for individuals and society as a whole. The freedom to seek knowledge, to question, to explore new ideas, and to develop a deeper understanding of the world and our place in it is essential for human flourishing. Only by embracing the full range of knowledge, whether religious, scientific, philosophical, or otherwise, can we unlock our potential and move toward a more enlightened and compassionate future. In today's fast-paced, interconnected world, the relevance of certain principles and ideas remains undiminished, even as societies evolve and face new challenges. Some lessons from history, spiritual teachings, and human experiences continue to resonate and influence how we navigate our modern lives. The notion of personal responsibility, the pursuit of knowledge, and the quest for empowerment through self-awareness remain deeply significant, shaping our responses to contemporary issues. As we struggle with global concerns such as inequality, environmental degradation, political instability, and personal mental health, These timeless themes offer guidance and relevance. Their application is not just for an earlier time or a different generation, but is profoundly applicable to our everyday struggles, decisions, and growth. One area where the relevance of personal responsibility and empowerment is starkly apparent today is in the context of mental health. In an age of increasing mental health awareness, personal responsibility in how we address our emotional and psychological well-being is critical. As individuals, we are often confronted with an overwhelming array of stressors, from societal expectations to personal challenges. While many of these factors are beyond our immediate control, the way we respond to them remains within our agency. The rise in awareness surrounding mental health issues encourages individuals to take ownership of their struggles by seeking help, practicing self-care, and nurturing their resilience. However, it is also essential to understand that mental health is a complex issue, often influenced by external factors such as socioeconomic status, trauma, or systemic oppression. Yet, personal responsibility lies in our approach to healing, accepting the help offered, and actively working toward recovery. Through this, we empower ourselves to regain control over our lives, understanding that the journey to healing involves both self-reflection and action. Similarly, the concept of the pursuit of knowledge remains more relevant than ever. In an age where information is abundant and constantly accessible, it is essential to differentiate between knowledge that enriches us and misinformation that misguides us. Social media, news outlets, and other platforms have become powerful forces in shaping public opinion. And with the ease of information sharing comes the challenge of discerning truth. The rapid spread of misinformation, fake news, and biases highlights the necessity of critical thinking in today's world. It requires us to be vigilant in our consumption of information, questioning the sources, understanding the context, and analyzing the facts before adopting them as truth. The ability to engage in critical thinking and seek out reliable, diverse sources of knowledge is a direct reflection of how we handle personal responsibility in the modern age. Knowledge isn't just something we passively absorb, it's something we actively curate and question, making it a powerful tool for personal and societal growth. Moreover, as the world grapples with global challenges like climate change, economic inequality, and social injustice, the relevance of empowerment through collective knowledge and action cannot be overstated. The climate crisis, for instance, presents an urgent call for change. It is an issue that affects every individual, community, and nation, yet its solutions lie in the collective power of people who take responsibility for the planet's future. Across the globe, movements advocating for environmental responsibility, whether it's reducing carbon footprints, advocating for sustainable practices, or demanding policy change, are driven by individuals taking responsibility for their environment and the legacy they leave for future generations. The relevance of this pursuit is that through knowledge and shared responsibility, we have the power to shift the trajectory of humanity's relationship with the earth, thereby creating a better world for ourselves and those who come after us. Similarly, when examining the relevance of personal agency, particularly in the face of political, social, and economic instability, we see that our individual actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate environment. In times of social injustice, people are waking up to their ability to influence change. Movements such as Black Lives Matter, Me Too, and others have shown that collective action can indeed reshape societal norms, challenge entrenched systems of oppression, and push for legislative reform. These movements have brought to the forefront the understanding that while one voice may be small, the collective voice of people who stand for justice and equality can bring about immense change. People are increasingly recognizing their own power to advocate for themselves and others, empowering communities to challenge oppressive systems. It is a vivid example of how personal agency is not only relevant, but necessary for societal change today. Empowerment through struggle is another powerful theme that echoes deeply in today's world. Struggles are not only inevitable, they are transformative. In a world filled with uncertainties and adversity, resilience, the ability to adapt and overcome, is one of the most vital qualities we can cultivate. Whether it's overcoming personal losses, dealing with health challenges, or navigating the hardships of systemic oppression, the capacity to rise above struggle is a defining feature of human strength. We often encounter setbacks in our careers, personal lives, or societal pursuits. However, these struggles, though painful, shape our character and build resilience. History is filled with individuals who faced tremendous struggles but used their experiences to become catalysts for change, inspire others, and carve out new paths for future generations. From civil rights activists to scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs, the struggles of yesterday shaped the triumphs of today. And that same pattern continues in our world.